Okay, so we're doing the last part of book 6.1a, and it's called evaluating expressions. You need to know what the word evaluating means. So if we look at inside the word evaluating, we find the word value. And if I want to say, what is the value of my shirt? Maybe it's like 100 reals. So what we're doing is we're taking an expression, which is like a math sentence, and we're finding the value of it. How much is it worth? So evaluating means find how much the expression is worth, like the value of a shirt. So let's look here. So it says evaluate the expression. So here's my expression. Okay, we have two variables, B and C. And I just made this up. So for A, I just picked any number out of my head. And I said, okay, -2. And I said, okay, B is going to be 5, C is going to be -4, and D is 6. I could have chose any values for these letters, okay? If you worked for a company, maybe C would be how many calculators you're selling, and maybe the value of it would be 150 because you have 150 calculators. B might stand for, I don't know, how many blackberries you have. The company has 5 blackberries sitting on the shelf because people don't use them anymore. Okay, so these letters will actually represent something, but right now we don't have stories about them, so I just chose any number for these. Okay, so what we have to do is wherever we see a letter, a variable, we put brackets and then we put the value into the expression. So I write my 3, here's my letter, my variable, put brackets, the B, put brackets. And I say, what value is the C? C is -4. So I'm going to put a -4 here. What's B? B is 5. So I replace the B with the 5. And now I have to find the value of this. Okay? So I need to use my BEDMAS rules. Okay, do I have brackets? Yes. Can I do anything inside my brackets? Nope. So I don't really have anything to do. Do I have any exponents? Nope. Do I have divide and multiply? I don't see any, but between the number and the bracket, there's a multiply. So I'm going to do my multiply. So 3 times -4, -12. -2 times 5 is -10. So now I lose 12 and I lose 10, I lose 22. Okay. Let's do 4 together. Okay. So wherever there's a variable, a letter, we're going to replace it with brackets. And we say, what is the value of A? A is -2. So I'm going to put -2 in. And then, what was it? C. C is -4, so I'm going to put a -4 in. So it's the same as this. If I look at BEDMAS, I can't do anything inside the brackets. I don't have exponents. Divide and multiply. I have a multiply here because it's a number touching a bracket. So I have to do this one and this one. 7 times -2, -14. -2, what I do is I do this. I go -2 times -4, and you can use your calculator. Put in exactly what you see. Okay, if you're unsure if it's a multiply, you can use your brackets and make it the same, or you can go -2 times -4 because it's the same thing. Okay, so it's +8, so I put +8, and then I lose 14 and I get 8, so it's -6. Okay, oops, you can't see the 6 there. All right, so now if I want to check my answer, I put in the first step exactly the way I see it. So 3 bracket -4 bracket. And then I check, yes, correct. Let's do the next one. 7 bracket -2 bracket. Exactly the way you see it, put it in your calculator. Yes, we are correct. So put a check mark if you're correct. Okay, next page. Okay, I'm going to write down the values for A, B, C. So A equals -2, because I didn't put them on this page. B equals 5, C equals -4, and D equals 6. So you write it on your page too, because then you'll have it there. So I'm going to do 5 and 6 at the same time because they're so close. They're like the same, except for this one has brackets around the -b and this one doesn't have brackets. So we're going to just see how different the answers are because of these brackets. So you have to be very careful. So wherever we have the letter, the variable, I'm going to put brackets. Now, because, let's put an equal sign. Because this B is by itself kind of inside the brackets, I'm not going to put another bracket because it will just confuse my eyes. I'm just going to be super careful. I'm going to leave a space for the value of B. Okay? So how much is B? B is 5. So 5, 5. How much is B? 5. So see how I just left a space for the 5? Okay. So now, this 2, this exponent, let's just wait, do BEDMAS. So do I have brackets inside the brackets? This bracket only has 5 inside, and this has 5 inside, so I can't do anything. This has a -5 inside the bracket. He's all by himself. I can't do anything. This one's by himself, so I can't do brackets. It says exponents next. So now I have to do the exponents. So this exponent is only on the bracket, so please write the bracket twice, and then put the negative in the front. So that's really 5 times 5 with a negative in the front, so that's -25. And I can always do that in my calculator. 25, so this is 25, and I put the negative back in front. Okay, and I can keep the brackets if I want. All right, let's do this one. This is, please write the brackets twice. What's inside the bracket? -5, -5. So negative times a negative is a positive, so this is going to be +25. Okay, let's put it in the calculator and see. Use the brackets, because I see brackets, so you use brackets. So it's 25. So this one was -25 because the negative's in the front, outside of the bracket. This one, it's negative times a negative, so it's going to be positive. Okay. Now, is that multiply or is that add? Well, let's look up. It's this plus this. So this is add. So it says I lose 25 and then I get 5 more. Okay, so -25 plus 5 is -20. Really, it's just saying I lose 25 and I get 5 more, so -20. So this one says it's also plus. I have 25 and I get 5 more, so that's 30. Okay, so you can use your brackets to do it if you feel safer. Okay, or you can go, oh, that's just 25 plus 5. It's the same thing. Okay, so let's put that whole thing in the calculator and check our answer. Negative bracket. So I put everything in exactly the same way I see it. -20, it's correct. Now let's do this one. Put it in exactly the way you see it. Yep, we're correct. Okay, let's go down and do number 11. Okay, wherever you see a variable, a letter, you're going to put a bracket. Okay, A, what was A? A is -2, and B was 5. So I'm going to substitute in the -2 for A and the 5 for B. So BEDMAS. Inside the brackets, The negative 2 is by himself inside the brackets, and the 5's by himself, so I can't do anything. If it looked like this, 2 plus 3 inside the brackets, I could do something. But here they're alone. So now I have exponents. So I have to do this exponent, and this exponent's far away, so I can do him at the same time. This one is not touching this one. If they were touching, I would always do the left one first. So this is really negative 2 times negative 2, because it says write these brackets twice, but I can use my calculator. Negative 2 squared, that's 4. Because negative times a negative is a positive. And here, this is really, write your brackets twice, and it's a 5 inside there, so 5 times 5 is 25. Let's check. Yep, 5 times 5 is 25. Now if I forget to put my brackets, look, it looks like it's 325. So we have to keep our brackets because this is touching the bracket and saying it's really a multiply here. There's really a multiply here, so I'm going to have to keep my brackets because it means a multiply. Okay, because the number is touching the bracket. So I'm done my exponents. Do I have divide multiply? Yes, it's hiding. It's right here. So here's a multiply and here's a multiply. They're not touching, so I can do them at the same time. If they were touching, I would do the left one first. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 25 is 75. So it's equal to 83. Okay, let's do 12. So wherever there's a variable, a letter, I'm going to put brackets. So B was 5 and C is negative 4. So bed mass. Inside the brackets, the 5's alone, can't do anything. The negative 4's alone, I can't do anything. Do I have exponents? Yes, so that's next. And because they're not touching, I can do them at the same time. And because this 4 is touching the bracket, that means there's a multiply there, so I'm going to keep my brackets after. So 5 squared was 25, because that's 5 times 5. Oops. So that's 25 minus 2. And this is, write the brackets twice, negative 4, negative 4. So negative times a negative is a positive, and it's 16. So let's check. Negative 4 squared. Yep. So I'm done my exponents. So now I have divide and multiply. I know there's a multiply hiding here. I can't see him, but I know he's hiding. So I have to do this one and this one. Okay. 4 times 25 is 100. 2 times 16 is 32. And on my calculator I would check, and that would be 68. So let's put that in our calculator to see if we're correct. So you put the first line in, exactly what you see you put in. So is it the same? I'm checking. Yeah, it's the same. Yay, got it correct. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So we have variables inside a big inside these brackets. So because I need to make it look easy for my eyes, I'm going to make these round brackets super big. Super big. And then I'm going to put brackets around these little these variables. I'm going to use little brackets. So then I don't get confused with all the brackets. These are my big ones, and then I have little ones. And I'm going to, what is A? I'm going to substitute in the number that represents A. And A is minus 2, and B is 5. Okay? That's just to help my eyes. You don't have to use big brackets. Some people use square ones instead, but it's just easy for my eyes to see it. Okay, so bid mass. So inside the brackets. Oh, look, I can do something inside my brackets, finally. So I can do this. It's really whatever this is plus this. So this negative 2 plus 5. So that means I have 5, but I lose 2. I have 5, and I lose 2. So I lose 2, and I have 5. 3. And I'm going to keep these big brackets because this 2 is touching the bracket and it's a multiply. So I'm going to have to keep the brackets because that touching there, the number touching the bracket, means a multiply. So 2 times 3, 6. There. Let's do 14. So that's equal to 5. Big bracket, and then I do small brackets for this. That just helps my eyes so I don't get confused. How much is B? 5. How much is C? -4. Now remember, see how I have A is -2, B is 5, C is -4, and D is 6? I just took those numbers out of my head. I could have chose anything. But when you have questions like this, your teacher's going to give you numbers, and they're just going to be random numbers that your teacher thinks of. Okay? So don't think that they come from somewhere or they're important. They're not. They're just random numbers I came up with. Okay? They're not special numbers. So, bedmass. Inside the brackets. Oh, look, I can do something inside the brackets finally. It means B minus C. So this minus this. Okay, so really it's 5 minus a -4. Do you remember when we subtract? We can change it to add, and this one becomes the opposite. So -4, +4. Then it's just equal to 9. Okay, because it's 5 plus 4. But if you don't remember that, that's okay. You can go 5 subtract -4, and it'll give you 9. And if you're like, oh, maybe I should keep the brackets when I put it in my calculator, totally fine. Put the brackets on. See? You can put in exactly what you see, and your calculator understands it. Okay, so that's 9. Keep your brackets because this 5 is touching the bracket, which means it's really a multiply here. There's a multiply there. So it's 5 times 9, 45. Now when I put it in my calculator to check, 5 bracket, 5, close the bracket, subtract, open the bracket, -4, and then 2 brackets closing. See on my calculator, the brackets aren't big for the outside ones, but still, see how it's confusing when the brackets are the same size? That's why I do these ones bigger on my paper, because they should kind of be the same size, but I don't like to write it that way. I get confused. Yay, we're right. Okay. Let's turn the page. Let's do 18. Oh, first, let's write down on this page, so we know A is -2, B is 5. And you're saying, where'd she get these numbers? The very first page. I'll show you. The very first page, I said, page 13, I said A is going to be -2, B is 5, C is -4, and D is 6. So for all the questions, I said B is always going to be 5 for these questions. D is always 6. I just made it up, okay? So we're just going to use the same numbers for all the questions, okay? So let's do 18. So bracket, let's put an equal sign. Oh, lots of stuff inside the bracket, so I'm going to do big bracket, 3 times A, little bracket, minus little bracket. So how much is C? C is -4, A is -2, and D is 6. Okay, bedmass. So inside the brackets. Ooh, we have lots of stuff inside the brackets. So let me get some paper. So here's inside the brackets. So I'm just going to cover up everything outside the bracket so I don't get confused, okay? So inside the bracket there's a subtract and there's a multiply. Which one should I do first? Multiply or subtract? Well, you can see divide and multiply, add and subtract. We always do the easy things last. The add and subtract is last. So I must do the divide and multiply first. So really, I have to do this one first. 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Okay? And then I copy this down the same. Put my big brackets, because I'm still doing the brackets. And now I have subtract. I can keep those brackets there. I lose 6 and I lose 6. Okay? I lose 6 and I lose 6. Really, I lose 12. And if you can do it, you can write it, put it in your calculator like this, exactly how you see it. Okay, still going to be the same. All right, so now I finished inside my brackets, but there was this little 4 on the outside, so let's put them back. Okay. So now when I have two brackets touching, it's really multiply. So now I have negative 4 times negative 12. Oops, 12, which is 48. If you want, you can just do brackets. Same thing. Your calculator understands that as multiply. Okay. Let's do number which one? Let's see. Oh, did I skip a page? No. Okay. Let's do 19. So 6 bracket 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 bracket. Let's put the brackets closer so it's touching. See? Okay. So D, I said, was 6, and C was negative 4. So when I have fractions, all I do is I cover up the bottom or the top, and I do one of them first. So that's a number touching a bracket, so it's multiply. So that's 36. And that's just a negative 4 on the bottom by himself. Let's just divide. So I can put it in my calculator, 36 divided by negative 4, or I can use the fraction button and go 36 and negative 4. It doesn't matter which way you do it. You'll get the same answer. 36 divided by negative 4, negative 9. Or I can use this button and go 36 over negative 4. Same. Okay. Let's look at 20. So this is 8 bracket, 2 bracket. That's too big. How much was C? C is negative 4 and A is negative 2. So really this is a multiply between the number and the bracket. So I'm just going to cover up and just do the top first. 8 times negative 4, negative 32. Let's do the bottom. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then I can put it in my calculator, negative 32 divided by negative 4, or I can use the fraction button. Doesn't matter. So let's use the fraction button this time. Oops, let's move it so you can see it. So negative 32 over negative 4 is 8, or negative 32 divided by negative 4. Same, same. Okay. Let's do the very last question together. 22. 2 bracket bracket plus 3 bracket bracket, 2 bracket bracket. So B is 5, D is 6, A is negative 2. Okay, so do you want to do the top or the bottom first? Highly well, it doesn't matter. Yep, just that. Just a minute. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you do the top or the bottom first. Let's do the top first because it looks bigger. Okay, so here we have a multiply and a multiply. So according to BEDMAS, we have multiply and then we have add. Which one do we do first? The multiply. So 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 6 is 18. And I can do them at the same time because they're far away and they're not touching each other. But if they were touching, I would have to do the left one first. Okay? 10 plus 18 is 28. So now I'm done the top. Now we do the bottom. Oh, that's a multiply. 2 times negative 4. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then I can go 28 divide by negative 4, or I can use the fraction button. So let's use the fraction button first. 28 over -4, -7. And if I just use divide, 28 divided by -4, same, -7. Okay, and if I want to check, then I have to use the fraction button to check. Well, I mean, I don't have to, but it's the easiest way to do it. So see, I'm putting everything in exactly the way I see it, and then I can check to see if I'm correct. -7, yay! So always check your work, because then you know you're correct, okay?